Man-eaters, an endangered species, or simply a tourist attraction. One would not think of sharks as food nor a thriving meat industry, but in South Africa, sharks are being caught and sold domestically, with a large percentage exported to Australia. But local awareness surrounding this fishery remains low. Restaurants and wholesalers such as the one behind me are some of the legal outlets that sell shark meat on their menus, but advertising of its product and its industry is virtually non-existent, and this lends itself to a lack of transparency between the industry and the public. Say you were at a restaurant and you bought fish and chips and they use shark meat instead of actual fish.
If I didn't know, then I wouldn't know.
and you would have found out, would you worry?
No, it won't bother me.
And do you know where we sell them to? The Aussies.
Is that so?
And
but they've got lots of sharks there.
And they eat in their fish and chips.
Yeah, but they've got lots of sharks, so why don't they catch them?
Yeah, but they've used all of their sharks. If the shark was being labelled as a different name on the menu, and you didn't know that, and you were buying this type of fish that you thought was a fish,
chef.
what would you do?
I'd kill whoever will serve it to me.
So
I'm serious. I will be furious. I mean, I wouldn't eat shark meat, and that's the end of it.
Good afternoon, GSA Traders.
Good afternoon. I'm looking for some shark fillets. Do you guys supply any?
Love, you know what we do? You won't believe this. I actually just sold the last lot today.
Okay.
We're going to be processing some more towards the end of the week. It's marked as shark, I think it's blue shark fillets.
I see. Okay, sorry, who do you...
Were you looking for ocean fillets?
No, basically ocean fillets.
Okay, yeah. You know that they're not allowed to label it now ocean fillets, so they've got to label it like shark fillets, or put the name, the scientific name of the shark and everything like that now as well. We were quite big in ocean fillets, but then as I say, when it came to like the whole labeling and everything like that, I don't know, I think people got scared when they seen shark. Like shark fillets, that you had to label it shark fillet.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you had to say to me, look, Casey, I'm looking for so much, argument's sake, 200 kilos of St. Joseph or so many kilos of, whatever shark you're looking for, I can try and source it for you. It's not a problem.
Sourcing shark meat seems to be just a phone call away, but upon close inspection of their website, there is no mention of it. We spoke to Gar Savage, a handline fisherman that often catches shark for processing factories in Cape Town.
We mainly target the smooth hand, milk shark or gummy, bronze whalers, spear eyes, and it's basically it. The other sharks are all in a big category. You get a lower price. There's not much demand for sharks over 14 kilos. 5 to 8 years ago, we'd go catch sharks 3 days out of the week. Now you'll do it 1 day out of every 2 weeks if you're lucky.
Year 2 Fishing, based in Port Elizabeth, took us through their factory and the stages through which St. Joseph is processed. Unlike most other sharks, St. Joseph is often mistaken as a fish. It is mostly caught in trawl nets and is highly sought after for its boneless fillets. For this reason, sharks require different filleting methods in comparison to other fish. From this processing plant, the St. Joseph, or otherwise known as butterbream, is sold as a fillet to retailers nearby. We paid a visit to the Mediterranean, a restaurant that offers butterbream on its menu.
It's just a winner, it's available, it's not really, very seldom a shortage of butterbream.
Almo de Sousa, owner of the restaurant, spoke to us about customer demand for the shark and the advantages of selling it.
Oh yes, indeed. We've got various customers that come through and specifically ask, one of the first questions is, have you got butterbream? Which kind of puts butterbream in a pedestal, so to say. Easy to clean fish, it's most of the time it's already skinned. We get it in fillets, already filleted. And no bones, which is fantastic. We use that also in kids' fish fingers, because it's bone-free.
It's at restaurants such as these, where any member of the general public can come in, order the lionfish of the day, and without knowing so, be eating a fish that is categorized as part of the shark family. We spoke to John Duncan, manager at the Seafood Market Transformation and Sustainable Fisheries Program, on the laws surrounding the naming of sharks when being sold.
Often they call it just St. Joseph's, and that's it's a shark, and actually they call it St. Joseph's fish. So that kind of helps them kind of get away from actually the fact that it is a shark. It's obviously a big issue. Anyone wants to sell shark meat can sell it as whatever they want legally, as long as it's not one of those few species like hake where it's clearly defined what you can and can't sell as hake.
Alongside this lack of transparency, regulators and officials and the regulations in place are failing to adequately monitor shark species and shark stocks in South African waters. The question now is, why is this happening?
So currently, the only legislation in place to protect demersal sharks is a TAE of 6 vessels, which is the total allowable effort of 6 vessels for the demersal shark longline fishery. In terms of the inshore trawl fishery and the commercial line fishery, there's no legislation in place. And secondly, the commercial line fishery, there's no legislation stopping people from catching sharks, and at the moment there's a decrease in lionfish catches, and this is causing these fishermen to seek revenue elsewhere, and they're going to places where they know they can catch these sharks and making their livelihood by catching these, and it's very difficult to manage. And when there are no legislation on these other fisheries, it's very, very difficult to manage.
Education surrounding the industry and the training of monitors on the ground seems to play a role in the issues of regulation and mismanagement.
How do you become a monitor?
I did put my CV. They say they want people for the monitor. Then I put my CV there.
They want you for the meantime. I mean, do you do a course and stuff? Nothing.
Unfortunately, a look into the Department of Fisheries website for further clarification on regulations failed to give us any answers. Problems surrounding the industry have also reached shark conservationists Rob and Sam Bester. Experts in shark tourism and conservation, they voice their concerns surrounding the lack of management around the industry.
A live shark is far more valuable than a dead shark. I know at this stage, across the South African coastline, we're looking at close to 100 million rand a year in shark tourism. I can't see how they're bringing in any sort of profits like that. So once our shark numbers are depleted to a point where divers are not going to see them anymore, the shark tourism industry is going to be done and dusted in South Africa.
On a localized point of view, you have lots of little towns that are relying on tourism activities. So then you have a conflict of user groups. Here we have a lot of surfers, people that enjoy the ocean for various sporting and recreation activities, and then the fishing come along and conduct their activity in the same area. So that's where you'll get that user conflict coming in. Who manages and jumps in and referees that user conflict?
This situation was realized during the summer of 2011 when a longline shark fisherman was found to be fishing off the beaches of St. Francis Bay. Conflict arose between conservationists, the media, the fishermen, regulators and the local community who were unaware of what was occurring off the local beaches.
A lot of people weren't even aware that there were permits issued or that it was an actual industry in South Africa. You know, when they see these shark documentaries and that sort of thing, they always think it's happening off Costa Rica or Australia or wherever they might think it's happening, never think it's happening 100 meters away from where their kids are surfing.
Various stakeholders involved and influenced by shark fishing retain their own views on the industry.
The fishing industry has definitely taken a toll on the shark population, as on the fish and the chocker.
The demersal shark fillet industry is a very valuable industry. I wouldn't say as valuable as the pelagic sharks, but it provides a lot of jobs for a lot of people.
Killing sharks for shark fins or for any reason for sport hunting is a crime against nature. All life revolves around the ocean. Once we've messed up the ocean, and this is what a lot of people don't understand, if you take all the sharks out of their habitats and kill them and eat them, you've caused a big wobble in the balance of the ocean.
I don't think WA's position isn't saying don't eat shark at all. It's saying ensure that the fishery, if you are going to eat shark, you should firstly know that you're eating shark, but also that you should be choosing sustainably caught shark. And as I said, there aren't that many species that actually fit into that category in South Africa as it stands.
Despite these views, the public plays a crucial role in shaping the industry, protecting South Africa's shark population and enforcing regulations. But no change in this industry can occur without an informed public.